tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, December 2nd, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. How does a little bit of extra sauce on the side to finish out the week sound? Because a few days ago, Brandon Curry was serving it up hot when he gave out his top 10 Olympia predictions on Fouad Abiad's podcast. For a lot of people, I think the biggest shocker here comes from him predicting that Nick Walker would finish outside of the top 10, which definitely puts him in the minority here, because I'm not sure if I've heard anyone come in with that hot of a take across the entire bodybuilding media. Now, to his credit, Brandon can also be trying to engage in some last-minute psychological warfare here by trying to piss off Nick and get inside his head, which feels like it's something straight out of Arnold's old-school pumping iron playbook. These next few weeks look like they're shaping up to be all sorts of interesting. So if I were you, I would stay tuned, because this stuff is only going to keep ramping up as we get closer to the show. If we're going to be serving up predictions, then we might as well go ahead and tell the bartender to make it a double, because this round is on Hunter Labrada's camp. A few days ago, on a different episode of the podcast, Hunter's camp pushed all the chips to the center of the table for their guy by going on the record to say they believed he was going to win the Olympia this year. Now, to be fair, if any coach came out and said that they didn't have complete confidence in one of their athletes 2 weeks out from the biggest event of the year, it would sound absolutely insane, especially when we're talking about someone who finished inside the top 5 last year. At this point, I think it's pretty much a consensus that we're already been seeing the biggest and most well-conditioned version of Hunter of all time. Now, the only question is whether or not that's going to be enough to make those predictions come to fruition. I don't know if there was something in the water this week, or if people are just starting to get delirious because they're in the late stages of their prep. But we also saw Nick Walker go on the record recently and say that he believes the Olympia title is his for the taking this year, which must have come as a shock to Brandon Curry, considering that he didn't even have him landing in the top 10. Now, in fairness to Nick, seeing his own personal bar unbelievably high is a strategy that we've seen him employ throughout his entire pro career. And I'd say that it's worked pretty well up to this point, don't you think? Any person who's performing at a high level in their respective field needs to have a certain amount of irrational confidence, because you just aren't going to survive long without it. I think it was Jordan Peterson who said that we only see what we aim at. And if Nick doesn't set his aim high enough to see himself winning the title, doesn't that make it damn near impossible for that to ever happen? Now, here's the thing. All of these predictions might not actually be worth a dime, because the latest report from Big Ramy's camp was that he's weighing in somewhere around 315 pounds, and he's already leaner than he's ever been 2 weeks out from the show. I think we've been basically saying this from day one here on the show, but the fact that Ramy's been so visible throughout his entire Olympia prep should have been a sign to everyone that he was supremely confident with his plan and where he was heading into this thing. And that feels like it's even more obvious now. He's a 2-time defending champion who's coming in with a chip on his shoulder, ready to deliver a coup de grace moment. So people can make all the insane predictions that they want, because at the end of the day, none of that is going to make any sort of a difference if Ramy shows up and goes into full Godzilla mode in his way to trampling everything in his path to win title number 3. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.